morning, guitar. Today we are looking at page 28. We're talking about half steps and whole steps and chromatics, also known as accidentals. So we saw some chromatics in our previous class where we had to play, for example, the note F sharp or the note C sharp or the note B flat. But now we're going to see them a little bit more regularly, right? So first, a half step and a whole step in music is explaining the difference of the notes from each other, right? So on guitar, a whole step, for example, would be when we go from one fret to the next. For example, F to G, where we skip a fret. That would be a whole step. A half step is where we go from one fret to the next without skipping one. So, for example, B to C, we went from 0 to 1. E to F, 0 to 1, right? B to C on the 5th string, 2nd fret to 3rd fret. E to F on the 4th string, 2nd fret to 3rd fret, right? So 2 to 3. There's no number in between, whole number in between, right? So no fret in between. There are notes in between, right? We have other instruments that do those. Now, a whole step would be, like I said, F to G, or C to D, or G to A, where we go from open to 2, right? Or G to A, 3 to 5, and so on, right? So chromatic, we have two different kinds of symbols, accidentals. We have a sharp sign, and we have a flat sign. The third symbol is the naturalization, right? So a sharp sign raises a note up. For example, if I had the note C, and then I wanted to do C sharp. C sharp, it looks like a pound sign, I used to say, right? Now you guys call it hashtag, right? No, sharp, we raise it up half step. G sharp, right? Sharp, G, kind of like how you would see the dollar sign before the number. You wouldn't say $1, you would say $1. Same thing with music. We see the sharp or the flat or the natural sign first. We say the name of the note, and then if it's sharp, flat, or naturalized. Flat lowers a note. So, for example, if I have the note D and I wanted to flat that, I would go down one fret and call it D flat. Now, you might notice that C, if I raise that to C sharp, and then if I go from D to D flat, you might notice that C sharp sounds the same as D flat, and that's because they are the same. We call that enharmonic. Enharmonic are two, actually it's one sound that has two names, or more than two names even. Much like a person, right? You can have a name, you can have a nickname, you can have a name that your family calls you by and a name that your friends call you by, but you're the same person, right? So enharmonic person, enharmonic notes, right? So this is C sharp or D flat given the context. And if I wanted to go back to C natural, I couldn't just write the note C or see the note C. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see the natural sign in front of it. That's the one that looks a little bit like a square, right? So notes on the E or first string opened and first 4 frets, what we see is E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. To go back to G natural, we put the natural sign in front of it. So that's just the regular G, F sharp, F, and E, and then here's the fingerings to do that. So E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, back to G, back to F sharp, F, and then E. Okay. Same thing would happen on notes on the B string. B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp. Got to put a natural sign if you want to go back down to D, C sharp, C, and B. So here's what this one sounds like. So this next line is talking about it with flats now. We see E, F, G flat. Seems like a leap, but it's not. Remember, G flat's the same as F sharp. G natural. A flat is the same as G sharp. G, G flat, F, and E. So these would actually sound the same as this one over here. E, F, G flat, G, A flat, back to G, G flat, F, and E. Now we have the same concept over here. B, C, it looks like a leap from C to D flat, but remember D flat is the same as C sharp, D natural, E flat's the same as D sharp, D, D flat's the same as C sharp, C, and B. So here we have B, C, D flat, D, E flat, back to D, D flat, C, and B. And these numbers down here were representing the frets or the fingers that you would use to play those. Okay. So exercise 16. Now we're going to do this using I and M and A with the repeat sign. What I'd like to do in examples like this is when I repeat, I'm going to go to the second technique. So I'm going to play through it the first time, alternating I and M. And when I repeat, I'm going to switch to M and A. And that way I can do it all in one take, right? So let's go over the notes. First I say 3/4 time. I have B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. So I'm going to the next string, right? F, F sharp, G, G sharp, G natural. So now I'm coming back down, G flat, F, E, E flat. That's going to be on the next string, right? Because this is tuned to an E. So if I want to do that, remember E flat's the same as D sharp, right? There's our D natural, D flat, our C, and when we repeat, we end up back at B, and we do the whole thing again until we end on B. I'm going to do this at tempo 60, 3/4 time. First time through I and M, second time through M and A. 2, 3, here it goes. Switching techniques. All right. And our little comment here, when ascending on any scale, the left fingers must remain down until changing to the next higher string. Never lift or place or finger until necessary. You should see that I have all 4 fingers, and then when I go to the next string, I take them off. And you can work on that at a faster tempo too. Then off.